Welcome back, my friends, to another rousing rendition of Choir Boys Outdoors. This is the Raven, designed by my brother Espen over at Ultimate Knife Search. Now, some great reviews have already been done on it, but we're going to take it and we're going to do some fun stuff with it. Listen, shout out to Espen, Ultimate Knife Search. KHHI did the build. Let me just tell you this. Espen chopped a damn frying pan in half with it and stabbed it. No damage. The build is solid. The knife then went to Pistol Pete, who did a fantastic review. Shout out to him and shout out to Donnie B all day. Now, we're going to talk about all the nuances of this knife in 1 second. Before we do that, there was a time in this country where 22 veterans a day took their own lives. Now, stats are everywhere. We talk about it a lot. What does that mean? Well, it means for that reason, we focus on the number 0. Anything over 0 is simply unacceptable. Vets, we love you. You have a place here. That's all that means. You're welcome here. We're back to blue over here. We support Lil all to the chagrin of many. Listen, a lot of thoughts on that. People vary, and that's fine. How do you do that, Scab? Well, personally, we don't break the damn law. And finally, if you are an addict, never quit quitting. So, listen, real quick. What I wanted to do right here, guys, this thing is chopped a frying pan in half. Espen's got a video of that. That's insane. And then it went to Pistol Pete, and then it went to Donnie B all day. So is it razor sharp? Well, no. But I wanted to show a couple of quick little cutting things to show you this. It's still got a pretty damn good edge on it. Again, not hair popping sharp, but it's got a good edge on it. What does that mean? A few minutes of stropping it up, a few minutes on the ceramic rod, something like that, and it'll be hair popping sharp. But I wanted to review the knife as it came. And again, for all the work this damn thing has put in, to still be able to cut a ratchet strap, still be able to cut a rope, still be able to use it in that capacity is insane. Now, let me give you the specs. Let me give you the particulars on this thing. I have really, really enjoyed it. It is the Raven. Now, that ring on it is the Eye of Odin, and we'll get into that in a few. But it's the Raven. It was designed by Espen. Again, his channel was Ultimate Knife Search. I'm believing this is 5160 steel. It is 8 millimeters thick, so it's a damn beast. Rosewood handles. The overall length, now I pulled these with a tape measure, so I tried to be as on point as I can, but if they're slightly off, that's why. The overall length's 14 inches. The blade length, I got it 8 3/8 from the point to the top of the handle. The cutting edge is 8.5 inches. The blade width, I'm sorry, I got that reversed. The blade is 8.5. The cutting edge is 8 3/8. Sorry, inverted those. The blade width is 2 3/8 inches. The secondary blade, now that secondary blade at the top is not meant for cutting. That's meant for striking a ferro rod, for debarking duff, things like that. But that is actually 3.5 inches long. The handle is 5 5/8 overall. Okay, the inner grip is 3.5. Now, it fit me pretty good. That is the max for my hand. I'm snug on both ends. It was a bit small for Donnie, but Espen designed this thing for himself. Fantastic design. And I'll tell you this, when I grabbed it, I was locked in. I was a little worried about hot spots, even though, so you can see my hand there's touching. Even though I was touching on both ends, it's well-rounded, comfortable in hand. I didn't have a problem there, but I do want to notate this was designed for Espen by Espen. So, having said that, that is the Eye of Odin. Espen's a Viking, and this is a shout out back to those Viking roots. As everybody knows, Odin traded one of his eyes for wisdom. He always had 2 ravens with him. So the shape of the blade is a raven's beak, okay? And you can see that clearly. Now, it has a hole up there. That's not meant to represent the raven's eye. That's actually a lashing point for a spear. This thing at 8 millimeters thick, now look, there's my grip right there. I like doing the stab. This is the John Peters stab test. 1, it's just fun to stab stuff. 2, I wanted to see how the handles felt. Handles felt good. Really no slippage. And again, I was locked in pretty good. This damn thing is a stabbing monster. Loved stabbing with this thing. Now, here's that big, thick piece of fat wood, light or not, whatever you want to call it. And basically, guys, what we're going to do right here is we're just going to put as much stress as we can on the edge. I'm telling y'all, the build is solid. And I love the damn design of the thing. I love the look of the thing. I love the history and the thought that went into the thing. It's pretty well balanced for me. I'll show you the balance point here in a minute. Just balance it. Pretty good balance on it. Comfortable in hand. I opened the video the way I opened it with those two open slashes because when I went to Blackie's, I took this thing with me, all right? And I handed it to Blackie, and the first thing he did, we were just kind of sitting around the campfire, first thing Blackie did is he flipped it around like I was holding it upside down, and he said, man, this thing would rip you and just come up motion. I got to thinking about it, and I thought that'd be fun to hit some bottles that way, and he wasn't lying. Now, you can do an overhand stab, normal stab, comfortable there. But that upwards rip, woo, son, that'll ruin your day. This, I believe, would be Odin'S EDC. And right there, you don't see me doing a lot of prying, but this piece of lighter knot, which is just tougher than a damn brick bat. I mean, it's rock solid. No problems. No problem with the tip. Tip stayed intact. No damage to the blade. If you can chop a damn frying pan in half and he stabbed it, a piece of lighter knot ain't gonna hurt this knife. So it's good to know the build is solid. It's a wood processing machine. Now, with it being 5160, with it having a place to strike a ferro rod, I think it would make an awesome camp knife, an awesome EDC, an awesome belt knife in the woods. Why do I say that? Well, it's a high carbon steel, right? So it should be easy to sharpen. It's a pretty straight cutting edge, so you don't have a lot of twists, bends in it, nothing crazy. It's a straight on blade, so it's easy to sharpen, and you can strike a ferro rod. Now, that upper swedge, and I hate even calling it a swedge because it's sharp enough you can get duff. It's sharp enough to strike a ferro rod. And you see me do a couple little axe swings. Now, at this point, I was batoning in, and I didn't really realize till I looked over, so I apologize about that. But I kept the volume to a point where I thought you could hear it pretty good. And we're just batoning straight in to that wood. The knife is, I'm going to say it again. Donnie really drove it home, as well as Pete. It's a tough build. The thing I wanted to focus on a little bit was the handle. With that forward, it's got a slight forward cant to it, ever so slight. I love that. I love the fact it's not a pistol grip, and I think I'd be mistaken in calling it that. That's not what it is, but with that slight forward cant, it fits my hand, and again, it's snug, but it's comfortable in hand. It's easy to work with. And you can see right here, guys, we're not taking it easy on the knife, not abusing the knife, but we're just banging it into that log. We're going to chop a little bit. I'm going to show you just how solid that log is. The other thing is this. Hell, and y'all know I don't talk about this a lot, but it's a great tool, and I love it as a tool. But while I was playing with this thing, while I've messed around with this thing, I'm just going to be honest with you, I've thought the whole time, weapon, it just has that feel. Now, it's got a double ramp on the back. Got some aggressive jimping. Right here, let's just listen to a couple of these whacks. Comfortable in hand, some good solid whacks there. And it actually, if I'd have kept going, and I might go back and finish up, but if I'd have kept going, I'd just work my way around the log. And that's what we do a lot here, but you'll see me a lot too, kind of picking as I go. That's because this whole damn log is lighter knot, and I didn't want to lose any of it. Matter of fact, I spent a few minutes after the video kind of picking up pieces because that's a ton of sweet, sticky South Alabama lighter knot right there. Right there, right here with these blows just coming down, kind of like hammer blows right there, there were no real hot spots. And I'll say again, the handle's kind of, it maxes out, like that's the max that I could go. I couldn't go any smaller than that. But even though my hand was riding both on the top and bottom, it wasn't uncomfortable. Everything was well rounded. Now look at that. There's some deep, deep chops, and you can see all that amber goodness right there. And it's rock solid. And I guarantee you, man, there's a lot. And there's that piece right there that come off. Good job, Scab, pointing it out. But I'll go back to it. We're going to make a little duff. Just do a little bit of playing around here to show you that upper swedge. And it wouldn't take much, guys. It wouldn't take much at all. Like I said, this thing's been reviewed 3 or 4 times. Had shorts, cut a frying pan in half, which is insane. It's done a lot of work. Beat that piece of fat wood half to death, and it's still coming back for more. But holding it either way, like I was with the top blade, or like this, I just get that weapon type vibe, that aggressive, and there's nothing wrong with that. And y'all know that I don't talk about that a lot, but it gives that Viking aggression, right? But it also is beautiful. It's also easy to maintain. There's this myth out there that the Vikings were dirty and swarthy. No. They took great pride in their appearance. They took great pride in being warriors. They took pride in their skill set. And you can see that. It's like Espen captured that in the design. KHHI captured that in the build. A rugged, tough knife. And right here now, this is a piece of hardwood. I don't know what kind it is, but I know it's harder than a damn brick bat. I'm hitting it with my lighter knot. I go 3/4 of the way down, and then I wanted to show you pulling it out. Just again, putting pressure. Now this isn't just putting pressure on the edge. That's not just what we're doing. We're using it as a tool to see how it handles. There wasn't any shock in the handle. That handle's really, really, really well done. And I can't help but think this is a knife that I would gladly use. I could take with me and use for a camp out solidly. Now I'd sharpen it back up. I'd bring it back to where it needed to be. But the edge alignment, all that, the edge geometry, all that is sitting there waiting for a little bit of honing. Hell of a knife. Hell of a knife. Espen, my brother, hell of a design, son. You're really onto something here. I really, truly believe you are. Now, what you're going to see here is I hammered it down, and I was getting down to where just the tip was sticking out, and I didn't want to take another 5 minutes. So what I did is I run a stick down, pulled it out, and I'm going to use that for a stand or something. I'll make something out of it. But I was hella impressed with this knife. Guys, don't have long left. Overall thoughts on the knife, I absolutely love it. It's got that aggressive look. It's well built. It's well thought out. Hell of a wood processor would be hell of a self-defense tool. Strikes a fair rod. Remember this, guys. Ultimate Knife Search, Pistol Pete, and Donnie B All Day are our shout-outs. I have my Patreon set up. I have YouTube memberships. If you'd like to do that simply to help support the channel, I'm appreciative. But the most important thing is this. I'm Scab. You're not. I'm gone, son. Hell of a knife right here. Loving it. Beautiful, too. Kind of like me.